Election 2024 is over. America has voted, and both sexism and racism have won the day. On Liberal Dan Radio, we will hold everyone accountable, from the media that failed to report the threat that Trump poses to this nation, to the people who supported him. We will pick up the mantle to educate the people about his actions, from being dictator on day one, pardoning January 6th domestic terrorists, implementing Project 2025, and any other draconian measures he tries to pass. And now, the resistance begins. Host Dan Zimmerman coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. We will open up the phone lines in a little bit, and when we do, the phone number is 562-542-3261 or 562-LibDan1, but we're not opening the phones quite yet, so you can just join us in the chat, liberaldanradio.com, or twitch.liberaldanradio.com is the way to get to either show. I finally set up that subdomain, so there you go. Aaron is here for the dad jokes. Dad jokes are rad jokes. Anyway, plenty of dad jokes to come here because I'm a dad and I make jokes. But I also like to make jokes that are dad jokes, and I've probably liked to make dad jokes since well before I was a dad, but not since well before I like to make jokes. So anyway, support the show. You can, of course, always like, subscribe, share, comment all the videos that you see, including this one. Help the algorithm because Al Gore needs more rhythm. More on that in a second. And you could also support the show. Buy super chats, super stickers, gift memberships here on YouTube, liberaldanradio.com, or buy some for yourself. You can gift subscriptions over on Twitch as well. Twitch.liberaldanradio.com is the easy way to get there now. And also, you can also, if you have Amazon Prime, you can actually become a subscriber over on Twitch for free, or you can Venmo, Liberal Dan, on Venmo. You can also buy me a cider. Go to buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio, or just go to liberaldan.com, click the buy me a cider button. Either way will get you there, or you can become a patron, patreon.com/liberaldan, or patreon.liberaldan.com. Again, either way will get you there as well, to go ahead and support the show. We got Big Hook in there, but shouts out to Turtle Toes Jolie.
I like turtles.
We got Steve from across the pond.
It's no Scottish, it's crap.
We've got Aaron, and let's turn this down a little bit so we don't blow out everything out. There's Aaron's air horn. And anybody else coming in? So we got Jolie, Aaron, Big Hook, Steve, Jeff from just north of Uranus, Roxanne. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? Jackie, good to see everybody. Hey, Michael, what's going on? Hey, Penny, good to see you. No royalty, no blind loyalty. Exactly. We will definitely be talking about that because Donald Trump believes he's a king, but...
Well, I didn't vote for you.
I didn't vote for him either, but we don't vote for kings here. We don't have kings. So let's see. Breaking news. I don't know. I may very well be the first media source to report this. If you've heard this somewhere else, maybe. But Elon Musk apparently had some sort of motorcycle accident or something in Washington, D.C. And I basically have heard from several places at that hospital, including a friend of mine who's there, that Elon Musk has been hospitalized for, I think, what I'm hearing is a motorcycle accident. If you heard it somewhere else, remember you heard it here on liberaldanradio.com first. But I'm just looking at my texts right now because their family member also happens to be in the hospital. Apparently the nurses are talking about it. Apparently everybody could hear his voice because his whole entourage was talking very loudly. So, yeah, as far as I know, Elon Musk had a motorcycle accident, was not fatal, or I don't think he's planning on suffering any major injuries or anything like that. And plus the harm that he's already done to us, you know, is already there. So I don't think an accident at this point would help to alleviate that. But again, more information as I learn it. And if you see it from if you see it somewhere else, let's let them know this is where you heard it first, right? Hey, 250 kilo ohm, back from Pacific Northwest. Good to see you. Thank you for joining back on the show. So anyway, let's see. Nobody has else commented anything else, so nobody else apparently have seen it. Well, look, I'm not saying there's any reason to get your hopes up. I mean, it's not Donnie Boy. I mean, I don't know if he drives anything, let alone a motorcycle. I don't even know if he knows how to drive. I mean, should we really be hiring somebody who doesn't know how to drive? That doesn't, if you don't even know how to drive, you have no business being president of these United States. Imagine somebody running for president like in the late 1700s, early 1800s, and you're like, this person doesn't even know how to ride a horse. What? Are you kidding me? He can't be president. Or they can't be president, whatever. But anyway, just passing on the news that I've heard reported from somewhere else about good old Elon and how he is apparently in the hospital right now. So, breaking news. Again, remind everybody else where you saw it. Of course, I did the same thing when I found out big news about Uber, and like 3 people came back. Oh, I guess you were right. Guess that's where you saw it first. But yeah, Elon Musk supposedly is hospitalized. Nurses talking about it. I mean, they shouldn't be because that's a violation of HIPAA. But who's going to find out, right? I'm not done. I don't know names. If I did, I don't know names. So there you go. I don't work for the hospital. It's not my responsibility to maintain HIPAA patient confidentiality. Anyway, was he wearing a helmet? Too much to hope for a libertarian to not wear a helmet. I don't know. I don't know the details. All I know is that he's there. At GW Hospital is where I am finding this out currently. If other news breaks about it, I will let you know. But when the media breaks the news, we fix it here at Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right. Playing around with that idea still, trying to figure out exactly how to utilize it in the form of the show. But speaking of FDT or FDT, let's go ahead and first do this. Paste these in the chats. And we can pin them. And we can pin that as well if it lets me. There we go. Pin message. There you go. The new store.liberaldanradio.com is the link to get to the Liberal Dan Radio store. And we currently have 2 shirts up for grabs, both of which were created by yours truly. First store is the first item up for sale that gets at the store is the FDT. We all say FDT, F Donald Trump, whatever it is you want to say it, but why not wear it? Why not say it yourself in a Liberal Dan Radio branded FDT? So it's a t-shirt, so it's a T, and it says FD on it. So there you go. I have another couple of ideas of shirts that hopefully we can get up there soon, but this is one of the first 2 that I wanted to do. It's actually the second one I created, but if you just go to store.liberaldanradio.com and you can people can buy that shirt. It's available in all different colors, etc. Just going down there, whatever colors you want, you can get the shirts and show your pride for being a fan of Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right, while also telling Donald Trump to F off. The other shirt that we have available is the Al Gore Rhythm shirt, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. And in order to help the algorithms out, not only can you like videos, you can share them, you can comment on them, you can do all the stuff that you would normally respond to other people's comments on all the videos. That's the one way to help out the algorithm. But another way to help out the show is to buy an Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt. And if you noticed, the shirt front, so let's try and open this in another tab, shall we? Let's see, it's not necessarily letting me do it. Anyway, if it looks like, if you remember that, it looks like the parental advisory sticker that old Tippergore was responsible for back when they were trying to put labeling on CDs and cassettes and anything else that they might have thought had questionable content that parents might want to watch for their children. So I figured what better way to make my Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt than to do it as the parental advisory sticker. Of course, on the back, liberaldanradio.com as well. So both of those shirts are available starting at $28, going up from there. If you want to support the show, that's another way to do it. Go ahead and go to store.liberaldanradio.com, or you can go ahead and link to the particular ones. If you like the FDT shirt and you think other people might like it too, just share it to your social medias as well, because it will help both with supporting the show and maybe getting a better word of mouth out there. But with the exception of a few people, like the Mod Squad, y'all are the ones hearing about it first. I will put it out on social media afterwards as well. So there you go. FDT, the FDT, and the Al Gore rhythm shirt, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. The first two of several shirts that'll be available at store.liberaldanradio.com. So there you go. Hey, Joseph, good to see you. Let's see. Scott, good to see you as well. I think I said hi to Michael. Let's see, what sports... all right, let's see. You keeping the monkey alive and fed well with jokes. Wait, who won? What are we talking about? Did I miss a conversation about a sporting event that took place, or is it who won between Elon Musk and the pavement? Apparently, it's probably pavement won, Musk nothing, because it's in the hospital. But we can't hope for too much, can we? Again, nothing is currently on Musk's Twitter account. It's just there. So anyway, yes, Al Gore rhythm method. I don't know if that's the way to help the algorithm any, but that's definitely not a way to prevent yourself from getting pregnant. That's for darn sure. Oh, the Stanley Cup. I don't follow that. I don't follow hockey that much. I used to watch indoor hockey, like minor league hockey, when I lived in Baltimore. We had an indoor hockey team, or indoor hockey, as if there's an outdoor one. There was a minor league hockey team here in New Orleans as well, for a little bit at least. And that's one of the reasons why we have the arena. But anyway. What's up, One Vision? How did the algorithm bring me here? Because the algorithm's awesome. The algorithm needs to be better because so it'll bring more people here. Anyway. So anyways, I was hoping that these shirts would be available online today or Monday or whatever, but I was like, if it was not Monday, it should be today. So, and this is my my family's site, the YourFunnyShirts.com is my sister and brother-in-law's website. They are producing the tees, so I'm keeping it in the family. There's a whole bunch of other shirts that have on the site as well, but if you buy something, you know, it not only supports me, it supports other people in my family, and, you know, I would appreciate it. And if you have anybody else that you know that would want to get more information on having shirts made for them, I already know Trucker John said something about it. So now that this is up and running, let me know, and I'll you know, send me an email, liberaldanradio.com, liberaldanradio@gmail.com, and I will get y'all hooked up and set up, and y'all can have, you know, anybody else can have their own store as well. So, hopefully, that'll be good for them, hopefully good for us as well. So, wait, One Vision, are you the warm color for what? I don't know. I don't know. I've lost that point of the conversation at this point. But anyway, so, okay, if there might be a possibility that we end the show a little early today, simply because of the fact that my stomach has not been treating me very well today. And I still had tacos for dinner. So it's very well possible that if my stomach just goes, that I'll be like, you know what, show's over, time to go. But we're not there yet. So hopefully we won't be there at all, but, you know, you never can tell. And always,
It is what it is.
thank you, One Vision. You're also Seha, right? I believe that's true. Oh, Progressive Independent got a free one. Rosanna got a free one. Pam Opyop and Human F Being got a free one too. 3 names that I definitely do know. and recognize whatever. So thank you, One Vision, for gifting the 5 memberships for Liberal Dan Radio, creating 5 new Danimals, liberal Danimals. Anyway, so what else? What else to chat about? We've got lots of stuff to talk about. Let's talk about RFK Jr. On the last episode of Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from the Left, that's right, we were discussing RFK Jr. laying off everybody from the CDC's vaccine panel. And people were wondering who, pray tell, would be on the list of individuals that are going to get named to this list. And we already have 8 names of individuals who will join the CDC's Independent Vaccine Advisory Committee just 2 days after he fired everybody else. Everyone. And the people who he nominated or who he's appointing or whatever are people who you would have expected the anti-vaccine champion RFK Jr. Shouldn't say JFK Jr. That's just a tarnishing JFK's name and JFK Jr.'s name for that matter. So there is 25th of June, they're having a meeting. He referred to these people that he has appointed or nominated or whatever as highly credentialed scientists, leading public health experts, and some of America's most accomplished physicians. Do we believe him? Of course we don't believe him. One of the people included on this list is Dr. Robert Malone. Now, do we want to watch Dr. Robert Malone and all of the stuff that he has to say? I think that if I were to actually post stuff that Robert Malone has discussed and actually started playing the videos, my videos might get tagged by YouTube for misinformation. Let's see. Dr. Robert Malone, Pfizer video from Project Veritas, proudly disturbing. So we already know from this very first non-sponsored video, which was that Dr. Robert Malone believes Project Veritas, i.e. James O'Keefe, who has proven themselves to be not trustworthy when it comes to the data that they get, because when they show you videos, it's usually highly edited to show disinformation and to make you think that something happened that didn't really happen. What's the next one? The MAHA podcast, the Make America Healthy Again podcast, so clearly that's not going to be biased whatsoever. Dr. Robert Malone reveals the truth. Big Pharma lies, mRNA danger, and CIA manipulation. Is this somebody we want in charge or having a say in the vaccine advisory committee or whatever that Musk is now trying to reform now that he fired everybody else? I don't think so. The second sponsored ad here, Dr. Robert Malone, mRNA vaccine inventor, on latest COVID-19 data. The site that is sponsored is the Epoch Times. Definitely a totally believable and not, misinformation website whatsoever, right? The Epoch Times. Yeah, get out of here. What else? There's something really dark here by Dr. Malone. Pandemic Postmortem, the truth versus the narrative with Dr. Robert Malone. So I think Jimmy Dore's show with, Dr. Robert Malone. Dr. Robert Malone, Donald Trump is being swindled by Larry Ellison, mRNA vaccines, and AI. So basically all of this stuff on, YouTube by this Quack, in my opinion, shows that this guy is one of many quacks that Elon Musk is going to be appointing to this panel of so-called experts. Let's see. He claimed earlier this year that without evidence that recent pediatric deaths from measles were because of medical errors and not because of, vaccine hesitancy. We have Vicky Pebsworth, Director in Research of Patient Safety at the National Vaccine Information Center, that is considered a leading source of misinformation about vaccine. Yukon researchers say anti-vax Facebook groups in early days of COVID-19 pandemic Social media has become a powerful force for spreading misinformation and information. Anti-vaccine groups have established a strong presence on social media, like sites like Facebook. A pair of Yukon researchers recently found these groups quickly seized on COVID-19 as their next avenue of mongering fears over vaccines before the vaccine for COVID-19 even existed. Seth Couchman, professor of psychology, and Lisa Eaton, professor of human development and family sciences, published their findings of a study of anti-vaccine Facebook groups, communications during the early days of the pandemic. They collaborated with University of Delaware colleagues Natalie Brousseau and Valerie Earnshaw. The researchers found anti-vaccine groups identified COVID-19 as a significant public health threat that would likely require a vaccine as early as February 2020. The study covered the period between February and May of 2020, yada, yada, yada. And basically they go on to say how this group, the National Vaccine Information Center, is a source, again, of misinformation when it comes to vaccines. Historically, members of the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices, commonly known as AKIP, have undergone extensive vetting processes before they were appointed, and that could take months to years. The panel consists typically of 15 or more members. The meeting in 2 weeks will be about half the current size of what we would think or what we would expect. And according to NBC News, it's not clear whether or not they intend to appoint additional members. Department of Health and Human Services spokesperson Andrew Nixon said all newly appointed ACIP members were thoroughly vetted, whatever, but declined to offer specifics about the vetting process and how long it took. Regarding the qualifications of new members who have criticized vaccines, Nixon referred NBC News to Kennedy's comments on X. Being a vaccine skeptic, according to Secretary Kennedy. Let's see. On Monday, I took a major step forward in restoring public trust in vaccines by reconstructing the Advisory Committee for Immunization Practices. Let's go ahead and bring that back up here so we can read that with everybody. I retired 17 current members of the committee. I'm now repopulating ACIP with the 8 new members who will attend the June 25th meeting. The slate includes highly credentialed scientists, leading public health experts, and some of America's most accomplished physicians. Bullshit. All of these individuals are committed to evidence-based medicine, gold standard science, and common sense. Again, just because you say it, it doesn't mean that it's actually true. Joseph R. Hiblin, MD, is a psychiatrist and neuroscientist with a career in clinical research. As former acting chief of the section on nutritional neurosciences at the National Institutes of Health, he led research on immune regulation and neurodevelopment. Let's see. Can we find anything here from about Joseph Hiblin to see why is he somebody who RFK Jr. Would want to choose? See, I'm trying to see if this one has. I don't know. We can go through a bunch of those a little later. Maybe we'll do that on another show. Martin Koldorf, Retzif Levi, Robert Malone. We've talked about Robert Malone. Coney Masoner. James Pagano is a board-certified emergency medicine physician with over 40 years of clinical experience. Vicky Pebsworth earned a doctorate in public health and nursing from University of Michigan. Yada, yada, yada. Michael Ross. All these people. Someone goes, you forgot to list the spokesman for Aflac, i.e. the duck. So, yeah. Noel Brewer, an AKIP member who was fired last week. I don't know if it's ASIP or AKIP. I don't know which one's better, which one's the better pronunciation of it. There's no, I guess, really one way to pronounce an acronym correctly. The panel's charter requires members to be replaced on a rolling basis. The new panel is missing all of the expertise that has come before them, said Brewer, a professor in the Department of Health Behavior at University of North Carolina Gilling School of Global Public Health. They don't know how to go about looking at the evidence, how to think about the volumes of data that will be coming their way. Dr. William Schaffner, an infectious disease expert at Vanderbilt, similarly noted that it will be a big challenge for these new members because there will be a number of new issues to come up for votes. Unless they follow the deliberations from ACIP personally, they won't be up to date on those various issues. So basically, there's a meeting coming up on June 25th, and these people have no idea what has been talked about, up until this point. And we have a bunch of people who have no idea what they're talking about or are completely biased against vaccines, who are going to be on this committee to determine whether or not vaccines should be approved for people. What could go wrong, right? Well, this is just one of the many reasons why enough is enough. We got screwed by Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. We got screwed by him because he knew that RFK Jr. is not somebody who could have been taken seriously. Now, if he would have stood up and opposed RFK Jr. Like he should have as the medical expert that he supposedly is, because, he has a doctor's degree. He is a medical doctor, after all, and he should understand why what RFK Jr. is doing is terrible for the health of the people of this country. But instead of just, going with his gut, when his gut told him that you can't trust RFK Jr. on issues pertaining to this because he's just plainly not trustworthy, he went ahead and believed the lie that was told to him that, when I make changes, I'll make sure to let you know, wink, wink, I'm sure he will. And of course he didn't, as we all expected him to not. And now what can we do? There's nothing we can do because one vote could have stopped him back then. Now you need many, many more to stop him. You can't just remove him anymore with a simple majority. He could have helped the filibuster if he felt that this is not going to be an appropriate choice, which he should have if he knows anything about the, profession of medicine, which you think he should, or he would, being that he is a doctor. But guess what? He doesn't give a rat's ass about public health. He only gives a rat's ass about his political career, something that's already at risk because there are many people gunning for him, proverbially, when it comes to wanting to replace him in the upcoming elections in 2026. Next year, we will have a closed primary system because Louisiana changed some of our primaries to closed primaries, and there are Republicans who are going to challenge him, and his only hope is that he finishes first of whatever field comes out there, and that the second place person is somebody who they would hate even less. They would hate even more, I guess, than Bill Cassidy. Otherwise, he has people coming for him. So this was likely his last term in the Senate. And he couldn't even do the right thing by making sure that the least amount of harm that could have been done was done. I mean, doctors are supposed to believe in do no harm, but in this case, he should have at least tried to prevent as much harm as possible, but he chose to put his political career before the health needs of this nation. And now we see what's happening by, the elimination of all of the experts and installing back people. And we'll go over everybody, I guess, maybe on a different show. Again, I wasn't having the best day today when it came to my health, so and I'm not necessarily, didn't have too much time to go through this, but maybe next time we will go over all of the names and and maybe he'll add more by that time, and we'll be able to go over more people. But we've discussed the first one, which should show you pretty much exactly where this is coming from. So anyway, more of us getting screwed by this administration, but there's more in the next video that we'll be doing in just a second. And I'm tired of doing the whole, some videos I might still end, do you agree, disagree, like, or whatever. Maybe. We'll see if we add those in some future ones or not. I don't know. Oh, look at that flirt that Big Hook is over there in the chat. Good to see you as always. I'm sweet on you, but I have to be careful I don't get diabetes. Well, if you're this one sweet on her, wouldn't it be her that would try to get diabetes, or is the fact that she's sweet that would cause you to get diabetes? I don't know, or diabetes, I guess one would say. But hello, Susie. Good to see you as well. Leanna, good to see you, Leanna, as well. Thank you so much. Again, everybody who hasn't seen it yet, the pinned link is store.liberaldanradio.com. It's store.liberaldanradio.com. And if you go there, you can see the two brand new shirts. Although for some reason it's not wanting to load. I don't know. Just bring it back up again just so everybody can see. Might have to mess around with it again, because we got the FDTs, so FDT or FDT, or we've got the Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt. So again, both of my babies, I created both of them. I was very happy to be able to create both of them, and I was just even happier to see them up there, and that the fact that we have these shirts now. So take a picture and send me a picture of you in your Liberal Dan Radio t-shirt. if you want me to show you off wearing it. But the first thing I gotta do is I gotta go buy it. Store.liberaldanradio.com to get there. Anyway, so you just couldn't leave it alone, Dan. Nope, I could not. I could not leave it alone because, you know, I'm a flirt too, so it is what it is. Wait, I'm sorry, that's Trump's line.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Anyway, let's flick back over here, though. And since Sunday, we've been seeing a lot of stuff happening when it comes to Los Angeles. We have the Speaker of the House, third in line to the president, who believes that he didn't want to say anything about whether or not there should be legal penalties for Governor Newsom in California, but he did say that Governor Newsom should be tarred and feathered. So there you go with how our political world is going. But we have 45 cities across dozens of states have held demonstrations over President Trump's immigration crackdown, decision to send the National Guard and Marines to the Southern California city of LA. Now, there is absolutely no reason why the Marines should be being deployed to an American city. This is... I don't know why this isn't the line in the sand for constitutionalists. I don't know why there are people who didn't draw a line in the sand sooner. But if you're somebody who really believes in the Constitution, if you want to wrap yourself up in the Constitution and claim your love for it and love for this country, you cannot do that and not come out and oppose what Donald Trump is doing by deploying the U.S. military against our own citizens. We already know that's something that he wanted to do because he wanted to be able to shoot protesters in the legs when he wanted to go take the photo op with the upside-down Bible outside of the church near the White House. But, you know, that wasn't enough for some people. So when is enough finally going to be enough? I mean, we all know that there are plenty of people who are conservatives who will always double down on 12, who will never admit they were wrong, and if you tell them that they're wrong, they'll just dig in. What's it going to take? I mean, you do have... one of the people who was the head of Voto Latino, Donald Trump, I guess it was. What's the exact name? I don't know. But we already have, you know, him. Let's bring up the person's name again. Latinos for Trump leader Hector Luis Valdez Cocho, a Cuban activist who rallied others to vote for Trump, has been picked up by ICE and is in a deportation center waiting to be deported. Now, do I think Donald Trump is going overboard with his deportations? Absolutely. Do I think he's acting in an unconstitutional way? The Supreme Court voted 9-0 that said to say that he was acting in an unconstitutional way. That individuals deserve and have the guaranteed right of due process, regardless of whether or not they're a citizen, because how else do you prove that the person's not here legally without, you know, allowing them the opportunity to, you know, have a hearing to see whether or not they should be held or not? The idea that these people are against habeas corpus, again, just shows why they wipe their collective asses with the Constitution. But at least this guy effed around, and now he's entering the find out phase. And I just want more of this to happen. More of Latinos for Trump to be, let's see. More Latinos for Trump to be deported and to see why they made the absolute. And here's a picture of Hector Luis Valdez Cocho with his Trump 2024 Let's Go Brandon flag. And now he's sitting in a detention center. Couldn't have happened to a better person. Unfortunately, it has happened to many people, people who have not gotten due process rights, people who have been ordered to come back to the country, like Garcia. They finally are bringing him back to the country, and they say, oh, we're going to put him up for, you know, on trial. Fine, do it. Prove your case. The government isn't restricted from, not deporting anybody. The government just has to do it in a legal way. So yes, if you think that somebody is deserving of deportation, you should have to prove why they are deserving of deportation. But these sick, twisted fucks who don't, who claim to like the Constitution but clearly don't, are more than happy to support this, support this, dictator. The dictator that's not even a very popular dictator. If this is to be believed, seat fillers needed. June 14th, Constitution Avenue, D.C. Team Mellon Events is looking for seat fillers and extras to provide their name for space maximization and attendance perception for an event taking place in Washington, D.C. on June 14th. What event might that be? Extras and seat fillers will check in on the morning of June 15th at 9 a.m. Extras are required to wear red, white, and blue clothing and will be provided with a red hat to wear. Gold accessories are acceptable as well. The team will advise the extras where to stand or sit according to the line of sight from the VIP viewing platform area. Extras and seat fillers will be paid a flat daily fee. Don't believe that. I would never believe that they're going to actually pay money that I would owe if this is legit. They will be provided a lunch of fast food and soda. But what fast food is it? Are people going to get hamburgers and cheeseburgers, or what are they going to get? We encourage people of color and ethnic groups to sign up for maximum perception control. Maximum perception control. And these individuals will be prominently displayed on the televised broadcast and local viewing screens to be seen by the VIP platform, i.e. so Donald Trump can have his ego stroked outside, probably hoping that other people will stroke something else inside. But, now, is this legit? Have I confirmed this as being 100% accurate? No, but it is plausible. And if it comes out that this was just a fake post advertising something that was going on, to make people think that they're going to get paid when they're not, if it's just a troll to the people on the right, awesome. I hope everybody, if this is fake, and I hope everybody that shows up expecting to get paid won't get paid, and then they'll get even more angry, or maybe some of them might get angry, but the rest of them will just be like, meh, I'll still support him. Because, Donald Trump can do crap like leave people freezing in a parking lot and not get them rides back to their cars from where they were parked. And they'll sit there and be like, I still love Donald Trump. He's still my guy. Even though he tried to make me freeze to death, I still like him. So, anyway. But yeah, flat fee of $1,000 paid in cryptocurrency provided by Fight LLC is what the last thing says. Now, does that make it more believable or less believable? With the amount of people, of how much they love crypto now. They used to hate it because Donald Trump hated it, but now Donald Trump loves it, so they love it too. Because they can't think for themselves because they are the poorly educated. And Donald Trump did say after the 2016 Nevada primaries how much he enjoys having, or he loves, the poorly educated. Because without the poorly educated, he would not be where he is. Of course, this is other thing that I found. When Roe was overturned and women bled out in ERs, we heard states' rights, which is not a thing. States have powers, people have rights, but that's what conservatives say. States' rights. When guns became the number one killer of kids, they still yelled about the so-called state rights. But one protest against injustice, suddenly there's federal boots on the ground. They don't panic when people die, only when people speak, which is why we need to speak loudly, frequently, loudly, and even more frequently, and even more loudly. Because democracy will die with silence, not with loud actions. Now, I'm not going to be, I was listening to one of our favorite people the other day, and I don't always agree with all of the people who I say we should support, because I'm not going to sit here and argue about 1% of the things we disagree on when we agree about 99% of all the other stuff, especially on the fact that Donald Trump is a giant crap sandwich and needs to be stopped legally. But he was basically saying that, I think it was Hal, he was saying that criticizing people for wearing masks or whatever. I'm like, if you can protest without a mask, if you have the privilege to protest without a mask, then by all means, make yourself known. Make it known far and wide that you are not supporting this terrible president and all of the crap that he does. You know, but there are people who are marginalized and oppressed folks who are less likely to be able to stand up and, you know, show their faces when fighting against tyranny. And I'm more concerned about getting more bodies out there fighting against tyranny than I am about whether or not they're wearing a mask. So one part, well, I guess me and him will have to disagree on is simply the fact that not everybody has the ability to be able to wear a mask, to be able to go maskless, and say, hey, I don't support Donald Trump as president. I don't support the actions he's taken. And here's my face so everybody can see. Not everybody is that privileged. So if you can go out maskless, by all means do so. If you can make the statement with your face and not just your, you know, feet marching along, holding a sign or whatever, by all means do it. But I'm not going to sit here and judge anybody who says that they don't feel safe without wearing a mask out there, because there are definitely people who are not safe if they go maskless, who will put themselves, put their families, put their loved ones at greater risk. So anyway, we need to fight back. And of course, everybody, find something in your area on Saturday, do a counter. Look, if I could afford it and I was healthy enough to be able to do it, I would absolutely get my ass up there and go march and counter protest Donald Trump, especially when he says that he's going to punish, I guess, people who he feels are going to do that. I would absolutely do it if I could. Unfortunately, I probably won't be able to do much of anything like that for at least another 6 months or more, because it will depend on how long it takes for my knees to heal once I get my knee replaced. So anyway, but I encourage everybody to do all it is that you can do to fight back, because if we don't, we will lose, and a lot of people will lose. See, 250 kilo tell House Sparks that about the masks. I actually said it in chat briefly, but his chat goes by so fast that I don't know if he knew or not. But again, I'm not going to sit here and focus on Hal and be like, this is one thing, unless it's so egregious, unless somebody who I typically agree with said something so egregious that I would have to, like, you know, vociferously stand up. You know, I'm not going to sit here and argue with people who, you know, we agree 99% about the one thing, but I will make my point. I'm not going to be silent about it either, but, you know, I think a lot of times where the left gets in trouble is when we spend so much time fighting with each other on the things. Let's make our points that we're on issues that we disagree and move on to the things that we do. That's where the left oftentimes mess up. We're so busy making sure that people are ideologically pure enough to support that we're not, you know, we're allowing the Republicans to, you know, clearly ignore any ideological purity that they once had in supporting this a-hole Donald Trump. So impeccable living. I'm coming out as a Mennonite. I see a lot of men at night.
Oh my.
There you go, impeccable living. Thank you for joining. But yes, but you only see them at night, though. You don't see them during the day. I would hope that you would spread it all out, literally and figuratively, across the hours of the day.
Oh my.
Anyway, hey, Chris, good to see you. Thank you for joining. I've known some really nice Mennonites and some really creepy a-holes. As your bicycle, Mike, I'll be camping, but going to the march somewhere around there. Well, that's good. MJ Daniel, should be painfully obvious by now that both sides are not the same, not even close, to the GOP as a change in America. Exactly. When there are some people that I ignore because they're not political and they're never going to be political, so I can't deal with it. But when they're like, both parties are the same, man, no, they're not. There are clear. And here are the people that'll say both parties are the same. It's like centrist, wishy-washy folks who, you know, will get mad because the left is woke, but be mad because the right's trying to take away rights, and, well, you know, don't understand that you need to be woke to fight the people who are fighting your rights, so they're confused. There's those people who will say both parties are the same. Then you have the people who are on the way left, who will never be Democrats, and who will say both parties are the same for other reasons. And then, of course, the people on the way right that will get mad at the GOP. probably still Trump lovers, but don't like the GOP because they're part of the deep state. They're part of the people who are entrenched in Washington, and yeah, boo-hoo. They won't support Donny Boy 150% of the time. So anyway. See, if you hear about Bigfoot sightings in Missouri and I don't show up anymore, well, it went horribly long, like most of my ideas. Yes. Don't go harm yourself seeing Bigfoot. But if you find Bigfoot in Uranus, make sure to get some lube. So let's just see. You'll have to give updates. Updates, not upstates. Updates. Anyway. Let's see. A woman who works at the outlet where I get bread says that I asked her to give her an example she can... Wait, a woman who works at the outlet where I get bread says that both parties are the same. I asked her to give an example she cannot. Of course she can't, because they can't. They can't. Let's see. Evie Zond, we've had a discussion about the fact that our Italian surname is also a Spanish surname. Evie Zant says, what a dystopian timeline we're living in. Yes, Orvilleby, good to see you, Orvilleby, as well as Evie Zant, as well as 250 kilo as well as Jesus Died For You 777, who gave their first chat. Don't know if that's a dude or a chick or non-binary folk. You know, either way, thank you for helping the algorithm, because Al Gore needs more rhythm. Let's see, Missouri can't be all that bad. They have Tony Michaels after all. Well, Missouri can't be all that bad because they have Jeff. I mean, how can you be a bad area if you have Jeff, right? I mean, more Jeff is more gooder, right? So, anyway. And Uranus. Yes, don't forget Uranus. You can't forget, especially the fudge that is, swirling around Uranus. Oh, my. That's awesome. Aaron's Asylum for the insane. All persons must be searched. Oh my. That sounds like a fun thing to have on your house, though. I think I need one for me, too. So, let's see. Jeff, be careful how you know how hunters are in Missouri. 30 minutes hunting and the rest are doing something else. Like drinking or something else that Impeccable Living might enjoy.
Oh my.
Anyway, Soulcraft, just ready for ET to pick up the phone. I'm ready to go home. Alabama is hell. Yes, that is correct. Alabama is quite the hellish. I mean, the entirety of our country is a gigantic hellscape at this point, because, well, we are. Let's see. I didn't even bitch about the stuff that I wanted to bitch about today, too. I was so pissed off during my gaming stream last night. Not because of anything that happened gaming related, but because of the fact that I thought I had a seller, or a buyer, I should say. I thought I had a buyer on my mother-in-law's house. And this person was like making it be like, oh yeah, this person, I'm not gonna back out. I'm not gonna back out. I really want this place. I really want it. I really want it. I really want it. Before the 10 days period of inspection period was over, I'm backing out. You mother effer. And then he sent me the first person didn't send me any sort of contract to just basically say, hey, here's the other agreement that we're terminating the original agreement. So he didn't send me that. But the second person did. And so this person sends me the document. I read the document before signing it. And I read that the document is improperly worded because it should have said if a sale takes place 0 days afterwards, but the document only said if the sale takes place 0 after, and I'm like, 0 what? Days, weeks, months, years, whatever? I don't know. And I was like, do you think you should send me a correct version of the document so we can sign the correct version of the document? It's correct, sir. No, the hell it's not. It's not correct, because I read it, and I even gave you the screenshot to show you that the word is not there that you think is there. And then he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I resent. Then he's like, well, I can help you sell it if you want me to. No! Fuck that and fuck you. You don't want to buy the house, but you want to help me sell it so you can get a cut? No. That makes me think that this is what you were trying to do in the first place. And maybe that wasn't what he intended, but that's sure as hell the message that I got. So now I'm back to square one, trying to get a new buyer for the house with the property. It is a fixer-upper. It's a bit of a fixer-upper, but, you know, we're not going to take cheapos, sell it, trying to, you know, get the property and make their own bank whilst, you know, ripping us off. That's not going to happen. And the moment you do something that loses my trust like that, I will never deal with you again. Those people can F off. So, and I understand, you know, if you're buying a house normally that you would be ready to move into, that you would want to have an inspection period, and you would want to be able to say, hey, we're going to, you know, we're going to try and make sure that everything in the house is legit because we want to move in immediately. This is not the case. This is a house that needs to be fixed up a bit. That's why we're not expecting to get, like, you know, $200,000, $180,000 for the house. We're expecting that whoever's going to buy it is going to have to put work into it to fix it up. But we're not going to sell it, like, right above what the loan is for either. F that. So, anyway, that's one of the things I have to go through. And not only am I getting a new knee on the 24th of July, I'm also getting something else done on the 17th, dealing with a stone that just happens to be 8 centimeters wide, hanging out in my kidney, that we don't want to risk having it come down, and we want to make sure it gets taken care of before I have to deal with the knee things. So, yeah, I've got all that going on. So I'm going to have at least 3 procedures in the next few months that I'm going to have to be dealing with. Yay! Anyway. That's that. That's all that stuff that's going on with me. But at least I have the t-shirt store up, right? Anyway. So what else? Then I have people on my page trying to be, you know, specific. So I don't believe this. One person goes, if this is actually a good idea, if you have an inspection in hand to show a buyer, just increase the price by that much. It might keep things simpler for you with a flipper. Blah, blah, blah. If I'm a regular buyer, not a flipper, I'd feel real sketchy. Have to sell them, made it hard for me to get a special. This is what pisses me off. I'm not saying that a regular buyer would want this. Like, people don't understand English, and it makes me want to just flip the fuck out on them because they don't understand what the hell I'm trying to say. I'm not, like, they're trying to represent what I'm saying. Bothers the ever-loving. I'd probably just delete the whole entire thread at this point because at this point it's just making me mad. But let's see. Big Hook. Are my jokes getting better or worse? I can't tell. I know. What was the last joke you said? Oh, they're all full of crappy. Nice. Fishing joke. Lols. Anyway. So I know a guy had a problem with poachers in his property. He put a couple of dildos in their tree stands and blinds. It worked. That's brilliant. Because, you know, all those fragilely. Impeccable living. I have to do something gay. I might be back. Wait, well, that deserves a...
Oh, my.
Well, you go, get all you can, you get all you can. It is Pride Month, so you should do extra things that are gay, not just some things. You should do extra gay things, right? Because it's Pride. Anyway. Leanna, Jeff, I could be your mother or grandmother at this point. I didn't think you were... I was assuming you were younger. I don't know. Maybe I just make assumptions. I don't know. Anywho. I have to fuss at these people. Anyway, let's go ahead. I think we've covered... Oh, there is one other thing I wanted to do. One other thing I wanted to do here, which is respond to one of these. We're going to respond to one of these videos because, well, this one just happened across my screen and, well, I actually watched a good bit of it and was just like, this is terrible. So this is another one of the episodes that I'm going to be doing of Unraveling Toxic Masculinity, and it, of course, features the Whatever podcast and the usual suspects. But let's listen to what they have to say, shall we?
And then Andrew made a joke about deportation. You said I'm a Trump lover. You saying that either I or Andrew or both of us have low IQ, and then...
Well, I mean, I've watched y'all's videos, and the arguments that y'all make, you know, tend to make me side with her because y'all don't make very good arguments whatsoever, but let's continue.
Andrew made a joke about deportation. You said I'm a Trump lover. You don't even know my politics.
That's crazy. Like, you guys literally have low IQs.
I think he's just mad he's going to deport your family.
And that's an ignorant ass racist comment right there by an ignorant ass racist motherfucker. I mean, there's not much to unravel there. That he would say that just shows exactly why these people are full of crap and why they also need to be fought back against.
Oh. I just find it kind of weird how, like, oh my God, people shouldn't be here illegally. Like, they're criminals. Like, what? You guys go into our country.
Well, which is your country? Is the United States your country, or is Mexico your country? I was born here.
But yeah, I can still say, like, Mexico, it's like.
Yeah, you could have a connection to a country that, you know, of your heritage and your culture, whilst still being an American citizen, and feel, you know, support for both. You could but that's what these lily white, pasty, conservative asshats don't want you to believe, because they don't have any culture other than America. That's their culture. America, and specifically white America, is what their culture is. Let's continue.
Is that your country, or isn't it?
No, it's not. It's not like my actual country.
So what's your country? If Mexico and America went to war, who do you have your loyalty to? Do you think that maybe that's a problem with having immigrants in?
Wait, and listen to what he says there. Do you think that's a problem with having immigrants? Not having persons who are here in violation of our border policies or whatever not as they would refer to them as illegals, but the problem with having immigrants, which is them just saying the whole thing. That's the quiet part, or not so quiet part now, out loud. That he just doesn't have a problem with persons who are here in violation of our laws. He has a problem with all immigrants altogether, because he wants you to immediately and instantly, you know, be supportive of this country because we're America.
Let's get an answer.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would do a lot to protect, like, Mexicans and everything, honestly.
So maybe for the people who are here, right, who, when we hear this from...
The people who are here, and when he says the people who are here, I'm sure when he says people, he means people who look like him and not people that look like her, because these are racist ass MFers.
Even people who are born here with American citizenship. If my country goes to war with your country, I'm going to side with that other country and not my own country.
Here's a little news flash for you. This is the type of person, is how Nazis come to power. If another country decided that they were going to declare war on us, the Americans, because they don't like Donald Trump, am I going to side with America and Donald Trump? If what they're who are they attacking? Are they attacking, you know, the government itself, or are they just attacking every American citizen whatsoever? And how will Donald Trump defend us if that supposed thing happened in this hypothetical situation of Mexico and America going to war? Because if I was somebody living in, you know, Nazi Germany in the 1940s, and, you know, you asked me, who was I going to support? The French, the English, and the Americans, or the German Chancellor, the Nazi Party? I would not be supporting the country from where I was born. I would be supporting the people trying to topple the Nazis in charge. But this fool would back our country regardless of what our country did, because to him, nationalism is more important than anything else. At least that's my take on what this is, and anybody who disagrees is more than welcome to put their comments in chat and or to call in at some later point if you happen to disagree with, you know, my opinion on this Andrew Schmuck and what
born here, like, I can't really do anything about.
That's true, except advocate on behalf of the enemy.
Well, see, here's the thing. Donald Trump has literally called us, the people on the left, the enemy, and he's treating American citizens and people who are here legally, even if they're not citizens, as the enemy. So why would I then not think that Donald Trump is not the enemy? So if you have tyrants in power and somebody is actively trying to remove that tyrant, am I going to sit here and cheer for the tyrant just because he happens to be a citizen of the same country that I'm a citizen of? Fuck no. you stand with the side of morality and the side of correctness. And sometimes that requires you saying that our country doesn't do the right thing all the time, and especially hasn't done the right thing since Donald Trump has been president.
You saying that either I or Andrew.
So there you go. That is my feelings on this shitbag podcast that's out there, because I'm not going to blindly support my country just because it attacks somebody else. If my country unjustly attacks somebody else, I'm going to be critical of my country, regardless of if I have cultural ties to that other country or not. But that's the difference between the poorly educated, the weak-minded individuals like these people, and people who, you know, have working brains and use them. So there's that another recorded episode of unraveling toxic masculinity. In this place, it's unraveling more than just toxic masculinity, but unraveling nationalism, unraveling toxic nationalism, unraveling toxic ideologies altogether. So, see, Big Hook, wait, are you claiming that he is a piece of lobbed-off foreskin ready for incineration? I don't even want to think about whether or not this person has foreskin or not. I don't want to really worry about the status of his penis or whether or not if he is foreskin or not. But you know, there's the joke. I mean, heard about the wallet that was made out of foreskin by a Moyle. When you rub it, it becomes a briefcase. Anyway. So you have a puppy and having a hard time potty training. She goes to the bathroom and then I ask if she did, and then she runs to the door. And then how do you punish them? Because you're wanting to go to the door. You just have to be on top of it constantly. You have to just constantly be. I mean, we have a puppy. He's less than a year. He hasn't peed in the house except for one excited moment in a very long time, because he actually will bark when it's time for him to go out. Now, he was just barking the other day. If I find out when I go downstairs tonight that they didn't let him out when he needed to, I'm going to be a little pissed off, because that was another thing that happened to me last night, is that I come downstairs hearing the dogs barking, and all of a sudden I see my oldest kid just sitting down there, letting them bark, not doing anything, just ignoring them when they needed to go do something. So that's another thing I've been dealing with recently, is that. So, yeah. I was not a very happy camper yesterday. Let's just make sure that's, you know, whatever. 5-3 is about flint knives and foreskins. Wait, what? I feel like I'm missing like half of the foreskin conversation going on here. Like Alan Drifter, wait, what's that? That's what that podcast is, because my suggested YouTube vids is mostly video games, creepypasta, and HFY vids. Suddenly clips from that podcast popped up several times. Yeah, that's how it happens. That's how it starts. That's how you get that crap. Is I don't know how it actually starts, but I was planning on making that video series of unraveling toxic masculinity for a very long time. But the reason I started was because YouTube decided that it was going to show me a whole lot of those crappy videos. And, well, if YouTube's going to just feed me content, I'm going to make content criticizing it. So there you go. Let's see. But yeah, that's what that horrible whatever podcast is. I'm just unfortunate. It's unfortunate that they haven't had the sex doll recently, because, you know, why wouldn't you have the sex doll out and about? I mean, I guess they have so many people. Because that's one of the things that that podcast does, is that they will invite people up who they feel that they could easily just lob a softball. Somebody else can lob a softball to them, and they feel that they can hit it out the park because they can expose their hypocrisy. But that's what all of these conservative type shows done. They don't welcome in all comers. They don't welcome people, you know. It's like, you know, whatchamacallit, Steven Crowder, not Trey Crowder, the good one, but Steven Crowder, the bad one. He gets up there and he'll start, you know, interviewing people. You don't see the whole unedited interview segments. You only see the ones that he picks and chooses, because I guarantee you, he's not going to show the ones that show that he's losing the argument. Because I guarantee you, if we ever got into an argument, I would so mop the floor with those assholes. It's just ridiculous. Let's see. To be clear, I have a lot of VTubers pop up too. Turns out some of them are right-leaning, so they seem to get under the wire. Yeah, but there's right-leaning, and then there's that ass-hattery right there, that nationalistic garbage that we just saw. So, anyway. Let's see. My maternal grandmother was born in Italy to an American mother. My maternal grandmother, my paternal grandmother, I don't know why I put maternal. Oh, it happens. I mistype things, a bunch of stuff. Let's see. I'm still not seeing any more information about Musk being hospitalized, but I'm still going to go that my source is correct and that you've heard it here first on Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right. Again, the link to this store does me trying to find, whether or not Elon Musk has been hospitalized according to any other sources except for myself or my friend who happens to be at GW Hospital as well. But yeah, again, just to make sure everybody's reminded, I'm going to remind everybody a few times today because people come and go. If you go to store.liberaldan or store.liberaldanradio.com, that will bring you to this website, which has your funny shirts. It's yourfunnyshirts.com is the main site, but we have two t-shirts up there: the Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt and the FDT shirt. The FDT shirt. Now, granted, I did borrow a little bit of that from Hal because Hal had the NF t-shirts where it's just NF with a T. That's cute. I liked it, but I actually designed the FDT with the orange D with the Trump hair over it. I had a little help from AI, but still, as Donald Trump says,
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Yes, exactly. Parenthood, Roxanne. Mabo, Musk always bends over. Yep. See, Alan Drifter just looked up Mush in the hospital, and it's bringing up onion vids. Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff coming up that shows. There's stuff like 4 years ago, maybe. I don't know. But as of right now, I'm the only source that's reporting that Elon Musk has been hospitalized. But, we'll see. We'll see when other people start doing it and people like, hey, Liberal Dan Radio had the scoop first. That and 25 cents won't even get me a cup of coffee, right? See, Lindy turned out to be one of them. Funny how Tara Dublin knew, but was unable. Wait, what? Confused. Wait, what? Big Hook? I think I missed part of that. What did I miss? Some fan funding, thanks or whatever. Hey, yes, I did miss some. Michael McAndrews with a $5 super chat. Aaron West is a liberal Danimal for 17 months. And Jojo Mojo Jojo with a $10 super chat. I guess that's what happens when I'm looking at other things and not the main thing. But I do want to make sure to thank both of y'all for doing the fan funding as well. It's one of the reasons why I can do this show, and maybe the more I do, the more I'll come on the air. I'm toying around with an idea of a third night, so the more subscribers that I get, the more support that I get, the more likes, comments, whatever, the more we get those algorithms up, because as I said, Al Gore needs more rhythm. Stored at liberaldanradio.com. Anyway, Lena Geyer, I'm only getting every few words, so I'll say goodnight to all. You and everyone are so awesome. You are also awesome. Thank you so much, Lena, for joining. Appreciate you. Alan, let me do some digging. If anybody can find it, it's you. Of course, last time this happened, I'm the one who found it regardless and was able to find the clip that I was looking for. The one of Congressman Joseph Gao saying, "You are much, much smarter than I am." Thank you, Congressman, for telling me how smarter you believe I am than you, which is true because I knew these things and you didn't. Getting certificate issues with the store page. Yeah, I kind of noticed that. I think you just might have to type. I think the problem is that it's coming up HTTPS and it's not HTTPS. Let's just remove that. Let's see if we can get this better. Just type it in normally. let's see. Let's pin that message. Replace pin message. And nope, it's still not doing it. Maybe it needs to be this way. HTTP store liberaldanradio.com. Yeah, it's just because it's not a HTTPS, it might give you a certificate thing, but just click on through and it'll do it. Otherwise, you can just go to here, and that's the other site. That's the other main link. That'll get you directly there. But store.liberaldanradio.com is just the easier way to remember. So we'll have to figure out what's going on with that. But anyway, and for some reason, like I see a bunch of channels like have like, you know, their own stores like posted on their videos or whatever, and it's great and all, but apparently you can't do it with everyone. You have to do it with certain particular stores, which kind of sucks. So we'll figure out how to fix that one too, I suppose. But anyway, let's go ahead, since we have a few minutes or whatever, and I still haven't had to go run off and go flee because of my stomach issues. At least not yet. We can go ahead and turn on the call-in number. Turn off the desktop audio because we want to be able to link is just supposed to work. Thank you, Sailor Gabby. Appreciate you. Nothing yet. Let's just make sure that we turn down the ringy-dingy volume to make sure it doesn't come through on the mic. There we go. So now we're ready for calls. Although we might not keep it open too long, but you know, just, you know, enough to allow some people to call in if they want to call in. Wait, something might have been the burrito you had for lunch? What kind of burrito did you have for lunch? Or was it the fireworks of the burrito? The most recent mush news, yes, I'm spelling that on purpose, is him apologizing for back-talking Daddy Rump. Yeah, you know, I heard that he's, you know, he's walking back, or crawfishing, as we might say down here. He's walking back some of what he said when it came to him feuding with Hair Donald. So, you know, I guess maybe he's figuring he doesn't want both the right and the left hating him. Although some people were backing him over Trump because they believe in the ideals or whatever, or supposed ideals that he believes in versus the Donald Trump BS. But, you know, hey. Anybody else want to go on a tirade with Dan ahead of me? Big Hook is giving you the opportunity. You know,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Big Hook is giving you the opportunity to call in first before he comes in and gives a little ringy-dingy. One ringy-dingy, two ringy-dingies, as, you know, Lily Tomlin said on SNL. I believe that was SNL, correct? I nominate Jeff to call and regale us with stories. Come on, Jeff, you can do it. Everyone's like, Jeff Cullen, Jeff Cullen, Jeff Cullen. I don't know if I said hello to Marie, but hello, Marie. Good to see you. Anyway, got to figure out how to make it so that the site can be correctly used without me having to have a certificate on it. I have to figure out that technical part of it. Because I understand why, you know, you want to have certificates on the site or whatever, but not every site has one, and you shouldn't, if it's not like importance, like if I'm connecting to one that is HTTPS and mine's not, then it shouldn't matter because you should get the certificate from the other one. So, thank you for the smooch, Marie. Anyway, oh, we're up to 100 views. Look at that. Even though we have 22 concurrent viewers and 33 likes, we have 100 views. So at least we have more likes than viewers. One thing I could say that's constant amongst the show is the fact that we do often have more likes than current viewers, which, you know, I'd like to get the number of current viewers up because that helps the algorithm, and the algorithm needs more rhythm. So get me a bottle of rum and I'll decode it. I'm actually going to rum tasting on some upcoming Wednesday, so I don't know if I'll flip days of Liberal Dan Radio that week or just do a later episode of Liberal Dan Radio that week. But it's after I whatchamacallit, after I let's see, after I come back from vacation, but before I have my first of 2 procedures in July is when that's happening. So there we go, more likes, 36 likes, and 23 viewers, 21 viewers, but yeah, we're up to 36. Good, yay. Thanks everybody. It happens to the best of us every once in a while. Sometimes I'll be watching Hal's show and I'll be like, oh, I didn't like, I'm a bad person. So Myers is my favorite rum. Myers is fun. I like Myers as like a to make a dark rum sauce with, especially for a bread pudding. But I usually like Captain Morgan or Bamboo. Bamboo is a really good one that I've had on cruises. That's delicious. Love me some Bamboo rum. But yeah, you know, I am a rum guy. So Musk is a coward too. Yes, absolutely. Musk is a coward. He is a chicken shit. Because, I mean, people talk about Trump chickening out. Of course, I've said here on the show that Trump, you know, the media trying to say that Trump chickens out when it comes to tariffs, it does not really understand Donald Trump. Because it don't understand how Donald Trump, you know, actually works, how he actually, you know, operates, and the fact that he may be a dumb motherfucker, he may be a chicken shit when it comes to many things, like, you know, Captain Bone Spurs or whatever, but he is definitely not chickening out when it comes to his tariff changes. His tariff changes are market manipulation, so him and his rich cronies can get even more wealthy. So rum is my favorite rum. Brother got me a bottle of pirate rum back. It's purely mixing rum. I drank it right at the bottle. Nice. Ever do rum and root beer instead of Coke? I've not done rum and root beer yet. I'm wondering how that is. Alan, I don't have taste buds that work on human levels. Blame my mother's cooking. I think you said that the other day because it was so hot. Was the temperature that was hot that burned your taste buds, or was it some other thing? Burnt bourbon sauce with pork tenderloin. My wife hated when I made that. Thought I was going to light the kitchen on fire when I lit it. I guess one might be afraid about that. So I would say something, but I'm not gonna. Anyway, no, she was just horrible. There you go. That's fair. She once burnt water for tea. I've known some people who might have done that, especially people who were in my fraternity. Yeah, Josh. I'm about to say, wait, Josh root beer. I was like, oh wait, no, that's Steve, who might not know what root beer is. Steve from across the pond, are you aware of root beer? Because I think that's one of the funny things to watch on like reaction videos is if you're watching somebody making somebody trying root beer for the first time, and everyone's like thinking about, oh, it's root beer, Americans love it, it must be wonderful, and then they eat it, drink it, and it's like, this is rubbish. So, hey Ciara, good to see you, thank you for joining. I hear clowns taste funny, but I'm a serial killer, what do I know? That is definitely a dad joke. So why do you think I learned to cook? So she'd get the hell out of the kitchen. That's a good thing. That's why I learned to do my own laundry, because my mom's adoptive father threw all of my white underwear and socks with my maroon basketball jersey and made everything pink. At that point, I decided to do my own laundry at that point because I didn't want to have it be screwed up and not be able to blame anybody but myself. So there you go. So yeah, Big Hook, if you want to shoot a call in right quick because nobody else seems to be wanting to call in. I would really love to have some conservatives call in to try and debate me, but I guess they're too afraid to deal with Liberal Dan Radio and the facts, logic, and reason that I bring to the table. So until that happens, we'll just have to fill the airwaves, or whatever you want to call us, the interwebs, the inner tubes, or whatever it is, with the dulcet sounds of Big Hook calling in from the Great White North. So Steve, I think I've tried it once and never again. You know, well, I mean, the reason why you would do that, right, is because it's you know, Scottish, or if it was Scottish root beer, because
if it's no Scottish, it's crap.
Right. So there you go. Let's see. Let's we go. See, the Cellcrafts A&W, especially from the tap at their restaurants, are so good. The frosty mug, but it's also sweeter than the canned A&Ws. And there's when I used to have I was the one of the, I guess, the food chair or whatever, the kitchen manager, the kitchen bitch, as some people called it, when I was at my fraternity, and I would be responsible for getting food and everything and ordering stuff for parties. So we would have things like, rush events, and rush events were supposed to be dry. So then we would do that. We would have like a poker night, just like where you come in, you play fake poker, you hang out, and we would drink root beer instead of regular beer. And the Abita root beer was pretty darn good. And we do have a Big Hook calling in. Welcome back, Big Hook, to Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from Life. That's right. How are you today?
I'm hanging in there. How about yourself?
Oh, it's been a day. It's been a 24 hours. It is definitely a time period. That's for certain.
Yeah, it's I'm getting worried. I really am, because at this point, Trump and his antics there in LA, this is I don't know how to phrase it. It's just, it's like the plot to a murder mystery where who the victim is going to be, but you can't do anything to stop it.
Do you watch Star Wars at all? Like, do you watch Star Wars stuff?
I know that the Andor, I've been told that the Andor second season is pretty much a predilection of what's currently happening right now.
I mean, the showrunners of Andor season 2 have said that it's not particularly dealing with any particular thing, but what's going on with Gorman, with the planet of Gorman in the whole Star Wars lore, is pretty much going right now in Los Angeles, and there's no real way to argue any other way. But the conservatives will still try anyway. So.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Here's what I'm worried about. Okay, he's going to send out the National Guard. Now he says, "Oh, the Marines will be dressed in California National Guard garb." Now, how are you going to distinguish between National Guard and Marines now? You're not going to, and that's what they want. Yeah, and this is the other thing, which is that he's looking for a shit show. And here's the other problem. The Proud Boys and the Three Percenters are all chomping at the bit to have a civil war occur. And what's to say that a bunch of them, even let's say from a rooftop, start sniping protesters, and it all fucking spirals out of control, and Trump gets his big wet dream, and you end up with the civil war that he wants, so he can impose martial law and cancel elections and everything, and then where do you go from there? Because that's what I fear is going to happen. It's scary as shit, but I think this is what it's going to come down to, unfortunately.
But to borrow from Andor, are they going to have snipers who are going to be sniping the citizens, or are they going to have snipers who are going to be sniping at the soldiers, so that it looks like the people are attacking the soldiers when in reality it's the own government attacking their own soldiers to make it look like the people are being violent, and as more violent than they actually are being, so that they have to, quote, put the insurrection down, which would be exactly like what they did in Andor.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. Either result gets what he wants, which is that he will impose martial law and cancel the elections and decide that he's going to be king for life. And, this is where we're at. He has realized that all of his policies are failing. He's a complete failure. He hasn't done anything. His tariffs don't work. the food supplies are running thin. He knows that people are getting in desperate straits, and he sees a big powder keg just sitting there waiting to be ignited, and he wants to be the one to light the match and destroy America as it is, and that's where I see it. I mean, it's easy to say don't take the bait, but the question is will it be a false flag operation where he does this shit to get what he wants? Because at this point, his only other option is to resign, and then in which case people will say, okay, we want a trial, we want to put him up, make him accountable, and that ain't going to happen because he knows. Right. He knows that once his term ends, that's it. He's going to spend the rest of his natural life either in a courtroom, facing charges and whatnot, or be in jail, or he's going to flee the country before that happens and live off the fruits of his scams. And that's where I see it right now. The question is do we? I don't know. Can we force him out early? Because at this point, I don't know what else to do. I mean, then you end up with Vance, and then his fucking benefactor Peter Thiel becomes in charge, who's in leagues with Elon Musk, and then you get the other shitty scenario where he's got all of everybody's records, and then on top of that you got the Palantir thing where they want to surveil everybody and whatnot, and then we become a society basically with the Stasi living conditions where everybody rats everybody else out. It'll be Republicans ratting out Dems and saying, and trying, and this dystopian nightmare becomes a reality, and that's what I'm afraid of. Right. I don't know. Maybe
you brought up false flags, and that was literally the next point I was going to. Is like, why would I believe, for example, with how terrible this administration is, and as underhanded as I expect them to be, and as illegal as they're acting, as they've shown themselves to act, like they're talking about like, oh, there were Molotov cocktails that were thrown. Why would I believe that they were thrown by protesters when in reality they could have been thrown by people loyal to Trump who wanted to try and make the actions of Trump look more legitimate. People, on the right would probably call us crazy for suggesting this, even though they're the people who said things like, the Sandy Hook people were stage actors, and that was another false flag event. Of course, Alex Jones got in trouble for all the crap he said about that, but they still didn't stop them from believing and supporting it. But if we dare suggest something similar, they'll call us nuts, when in reality ours is likely much more plausible because we all know how much of a con artist that Donald Trump really is. So
yeah, but that's the problem though. We on Stephanie Miller this morning, one of her callers, I think it was Karen or something like that, she said the Proud Boys have announced that they're going to go and they're going to do this thing. They're going to go out there and they're going to either shoot the National Guard or the Marines, one or the other, and start the the overthrow of the government, and the dystopian nightmare will become what it is, And she was saying, when you see, if you're going to do your protest, make sure you sit down and you don't talk loud or anything, and you make it quite evident for the cameras that it's a peaceful protest, and that anything that happens, because this is the other problem, you have a police force that likes to provoke, and you got guys with egos and who are just chomping on the bit to shoot people and provoke this thing into a nightmare scenario which they can take advantage of, because they're just dying to beat the shit out of people. Yep. I mean, that's what it all boils down to. they got this toxic male belief and ego that needs to be fulfilled, and and Trump is saying, I give you permission to do it. And the thing is that what I worry about is that MSM is not going to cover it, or they're going to turn a blind eye and say, oh, and now we return you to our regularly scheduled programming, and it'll be the police and military's word against ours as to what actually happened. That's my big concern. I don't know. Maybe I'm blowing it out of proportion.
No, I don't think
hope
you
that's
are.
the case.
I mean, I would love for you to be wrong, but I would have loved to have been wrong about all the things I've been right about too, and it just hasn't happened yet. And that's why one of the reasons I say we need new media. We need new media because the media right now can't be trusted to not pander to the people in power. They can't be trusted to not make excuses or paint things differently than what they really are. Like we went on the show on Monday, we talked about how the media was painting this 80-year-old guy in Utah like he's some sort of hero for working his fingers to the bone, being a bagger at a grocery store to pay off his dead wife's $80,000 in medical bills that he shouldn't have had to pay if we would have had any sort of fair system to deal with health in this country. But they're going to paint these things up as if oh, he's a wonderful person, right? I mean, I'm sure he was a wonderful husband, but they're still painting this dystopian idea that people should at 80 years old should be sitting there working their fingers to the bone simply just to pay off past debts as somehow being patriotic or loving America, whatever it is. I don't know. Then you have the same people who will just won't bat an eye when Republicans say things like 250 Kilo said in the Twitch chat, like, oh, the Jan 6ers were just Antifa in there. Of course, then the other side, either because they can't have the same story. They have to have two different stories and throw the spaghetti against the wall and see which one sticks, because it's either the J6ers who caused problems were Antifa, or the J6ers were just tourists or whatever. Well, you know what? Then so are these so-called Los Angeles rioters who are, again, vast majority of whom are peaceful. But you have idiots like Anna Kasparian, who was like, oh, I allowed myself to be misled, and there were people who were protesting who weren't being peaceful. Yeah, the people who were protesting not being peaceful, like after the George Floyd, murder, were people like the Boogaloo Boys who came in and burned a police station to try and make it look like it was Antifa and BLM and anybody else doing these horrible things, when in reality, it was the right wing trying to make it look like the left wing was doing the horrible things. So we need a media that's going to constantly and specifically call them out. We might have individual journalists who will do it, like your Rachel Maddow, like other folks who still can be trusted, who are part of the mainstream media. But then we need other people who are going to show exactly, why what they're hearing is not what is actually going on, because they don't want us to believe our own eyes. And 1984 just comes more and more true every day.
Yeah, I know, and that's what worries me, because you guys are you're on the verge of you need a revolutionary war to fix what's broken, because you didn't finish the job the last time with the North versus the South Civil War, where the South was basically allowed to rise up again and to not and they were allowed to espouse their beliefs constantly with no retribution. I mean, there's so many things that don't mean anything anymore. The Hatch Act is never enacted anymore. The Emoluments Clause is not being enacted. I mean,
the Republicans have completely ignored the Emoluments Clause. I mean, there's so many violations that Trump has dealt with, and it's just like, oh, okay, it's somehow okay because it's Trump. If Biden would have accepted a plane from Qatar, we would have heard the end of it. But now that Trump is doing it, it's just a gift. It's only a gift to our country. It's not to him. Of course, if he has to flee, he'll be fleeing on that plane to some place where I guess he'll hope that he can't be extradited from if he ever determines that he has to flee. But that's going to require things like, the people in the military to do what they swore an oath to do and protect the Constitution instead of protecting the individual who was elected in charge of this country. And use elected loosely in quotes, since you might not be able to see it. So,
well, that's the funny part about it. Trump was in a no-win situation where he had to either win the election or he was going to be spending the rest of his life in courts or in jail.
Yep.
And I wish he had done.
And then people like Musk are like, well, I'm going to try and help him out because maybe I'll be able to enrich myself while helping him win, and then he'll feel indebted to me. Of course, then whatever happened last week happened, and they became, I guess at this point, frenemies or whatever. But yeah, you call in and you say every week that you're scared, and you have every right to be, because why wouldn't anybody? Unless you're blindly supporting this president, which you're not, I'm not, most of the people listening to the show aren't, you're gonna have major problems with what they're doing. The fact that, I don't even know if I hit this in my conversation earlier when I was talking about everything that's going on in California, but they frickin' deported 4 people within the last, however many days since the riots started, and they've already gone. They already left the country through the deportation, which absolutely, I guarantee you that they were not given their due process rights that the Supreme Court required of them. So it's just yet another illegal action from a criminal administration, and the only way you stop it is the military would have to step up and say, we're not following your orders. The people who are in law enforcement would have to say, we are not following illegal orders, or you're going to have more drastic measures take place. And I don't want to see that, and I don't think anybody really wants to see that, because I don't want, things like the nuclear arsenal of the United States falling into, the hands of somebody dangerous, but it already is. So, again, what do we do? And that's the question you keep asking. What do we do? And the thing is, what can you advocate for without this president then trying to round you up for being, disloyal?
Well, that's the other problem.
Of course, I'm disloyal. I'm disloyal. I'll say that right now. I am a disloyal individual when it comes to Donald Trump. I will never swear fealty to his ignorant orange ass, and I will constantly do whatever it is I can do to fight back to my limits of my physical and mental abilities, or financial, I guess, as well. So, but here's the other problem. The other problem is that these maggots think that they are in the right, and they yield fealty to Trump and feel that they have. There's a whole whack of these wackadoos that are currently thinking, I should grab my gun and start rounding them up and hand them all over to ICE and get rid of them forever. That's the way these yahoos operate. They don't exist on the plane of reality, and I'm of the opinion that at this point, the Democrats need to play the strongest card that they have, which is withhold all the federal taxes and let the red states, die on their own swords. Because unless they're going to live off squirrel and raccoon and whatever else roams the streets or in the woods, I reckon that might be some good eating. Sorry.
Yeah,
that should be the next Liberal Dan Chopper City commercial will be specials on roadkill, because that's, in this economy, that's all you might be able to afford to eat after a while. Anyway.
Yeah, but you know what I'm saying, because this is the thing. We have been the nice guys, and we have been subsidizing them forever. And the thing is that they just take it for granted that it's just God's will, as they believe. And it's like, no, it's based on, the kindness and empathy that the Democrats agreed to, which is that we try our best to look after everyone. And that means if we pay higher taxes and subsidize the red states so that way these poor idiots have a chance at life, and I mean, this is what's so disgusting about the whole thing is that we only ask that you mind your own fucking damn business, and they won't do that. They just go, I'm against abortion because I'm a pro-life person. Can't you see I got a gun and I shoot people when they look at me funny? And, I mean, it's always the same bullshit, life that they live. Their life doesn't change, and it's from generation to generation stupidity handed down anecdotally to the point where you have nothing but a country full of idiots. And then you have the amplification of that via Fox News and OAN and Newsmax and whatnot. I mean, where do you go with it? There is these people, they want to eat from the trough of shit. They want to eat from the trough of lies. They don't want to face reality. They want the dystopian future, and I have no idea what to do about it, because you can't win an argument with these idiots, because they're incapable of learning or even the intellectual capacity to figure out what it is that you're telling them, and they don't fact check anything. That's the thing. They just believe what they're told because he's the head racist and he tells me what to believe and what is what, and I mean, what do you do with that? The biggest thing is that you guys have known forever that you have a domestic terror threat within your country, the KKK and everywhere else, and within the Republican Party. And you guys have let it slide, and you said, we're in our attempt to be bipartisan, we will let them think what they want to think. And it's like, yeah, and where has it gotten you? It's gotten you to this point now where it's going to be another fucking civil war, and, they're going to be, we take no prisoners, and we're going to send everybody either to El Salvador or another war-torn country, or we'll put them in Guantanamo. I mean, that's the other thing. They're talking about sending people to Guantanamo again.
Right.
I mean, I thought this shit was said, done, and over with, but nope, they're looking at it again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Let's see. All right. Let me talk about something else that Susie just brought up in chat, but do you have anything else to throw in before I move to that?
No. I would say I pray for you, but I don't believe in prayers. I think it's a question of what action are you guys going to take? And I think the question is who is going to be the leader that is going to make the agenda that you guys are going to have to follow to get yourselves out of this fucking mess that you have had, because people procrastinated so fucking long that you're in this situation, which pisses me off, because everybody keeps saying, Americans are great people. They're kind people. They're generous people. And I'm like, no, they aren't.
Yeah.
I
mean, I would love to be, somebody who could be like, the voice or whatever, but I don't have the reach yet. So it's going to have to be either we're going to have to get myself a lot more subscribers a lot more quickly here on YouTube, or we're going to have to figure out something else. Somebody else is going to have to wave the banner that I'll gladly fly. So.
Yeah, well, anyway, I feel like I don't know what to feel anymore. I'm angry, and at the same time, I'm depressed. I honestly don't know what to tell you. Right. We look at you with wonder and wonder whether or not you're going to survive this. shit that you're in, and whether or not you can actually step out with, you got to do the hokey pokey and turn yourself about, and
Yep.
I'm all out of words at this point. I am.
Yeah, the thing is, we need better
and
words.
as
We
you
need better
know, it
words than
takes a
Trump's,
lot.
at least. We need better words than Trump, even though Trump will say that he has the best words. But I think our words are better. But yeah, it's just becomes just so frustrating that you just have to look at it and just be like, and that's how that's you can't just give up. But that's how we feel many a times or whatever. But anyway, thank you again, Big Hook, for calling in. We will. I'm gonna shut down the phones for a second whilst I talk about this other more story that I think Susie just brought up in the chat. So, but anyway, thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Right, Big Hook?
Yes, and best of luck, Susie. I did what I could for you. Okay. Anyway,
Appreciate you. All right, have a good one, man.
you too. Take care. Bye.
All right, so we're gonna go ahead and shut down the turn on the Do Not Disturb for a second while we turn this back on. Thanks to Susie in the chat, we are now hearing that there is now an active operation, I guess, between Israel and Iran. Donald Trump is reported earlier on today told Netanyahu to end the Gaza war and stop Iran threats or whatever as U.S. ramps up pressure on Israel. U.S. President Donald Trump told Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to end the war in Gaza and stop talking of attack on Iran. According to a source familiar with the conversation, the two leaders spoke on the phone Monday. Trump said later the call went very well, very smooth. Of course, Donald Trump also said that he called Governor Newsom to talk about things, and Newsom said there's been no call. So do we believe that Donald Trump had a conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu, or is he just trying to get people to believe that there's a conversation that took place when a conversation never happened? The call for Israel to change course comes as Washington pushes for a nuclear deal with Iran and engages in indirect talks with Hamas over a ceasefire in Gaza. Meanwhile, according to Newsweek, which isn't as reputable as maybe it used to be, a source within the Ansar Allah movement, known as the Houthis, has shared with Newsweek a warning to Israel and the United States amid reports of a potential Israeli attack being planned against Iran. Reports Wednesday of U.S. non-essential personnel and family members being evacuated from regional countries including Iraq, Bahrain, and Kuwait were followed by a Washington Post article citing unnamed officials indicating that the moves were being undertaken in anticipation of an imminent Israeli strike against Iran. Israel's Channel 14 News outlet also reported that the country was preparing to soon launch a major operation against Iran. Soaring tensions follow after an Israel naval strike conducted Tuesday against the Houthis, a member of the Iran-led Axis of Resistance coalition that includes Hamas. Reacting to the reports, the Ansar Allah news source told Newsweek that the group had adopted a heightened state of readiness and was already essentially in a state of war with the Zionist entity due to its aggression and siege on Gaza, followed by its aggression against Yemen. In this regard, we are in a state of constant readiness. And then here on this Institute for the Study of War, Iran update to June 11th, 2025. The Critical Threats Project at the American Enterprise Institute and the Institute for the Study of War published the Iran updates, blah, blah, blah. The United States authorized the voluntary departure of U.S. military dependents and began preparations for a partial U.S. Embassy Baghdad evacuation amid new pessimism about U.S.-Iran nuclear talks. Some are suggesting that Iran is opposed to several provisions. United Kingdom Maritime Trades Operations, which monitors maritime security issues, also reacted on June 11th to increased tensions in the region. Iran continues to threaten to target Israeli and U.S. Assets in the region, likely to deter potential U.S.-Israeli strikes on Iran. The United States and the E3, United Kingdom, France, and Germany, submitted a non-compliance resolution that declares Iran in non-compliance with safeguards obligations as the International Atomic Energy Agency. But yeah, so and let's just file search this other thing real quick. Let's see, again, Washington Post saying U.S. shrinks presence in Middle East amongst fears of Israeli strike on Iran. Let's see, Houthis warn Israel of war. Iran warns of proportionate response as IAEA mulls censure. Iran threatens Israel's nuclear sites as Trump blocks strike plan. Israeli attack could drive Iran to seek nuclear weapons. IAEA chief warns, of course, according to Time, Israel has been planning to attack for 3 weeks. But as of right now, let's see if we can just pull this up as well. Let's pull this up real quick just to see and turn off the volume so I don't get in trouble for, you know, doing anything, listening to anything live that is copyright. Again, MSNBC at the moment is just talking about the House in favor of Trump's budget bill, which is no surprise, but nothing to do with that. But anyway, so as of right now, I mean, there is statements in the chat that there is military actions currently going on, but at least the United States has pulled people from the region and is, even though Donald Trump is trying to get Israel to not attack, are they really? If Donald Trump tries to do this and Israel really does it, that will just prove yet again with another example of why Donald Trump is a weak and ineffective president, because he doesn't even have the ability to pull on Netanyahu's leash and stop him from doing. When he said that we would be seeing all sorts of peace like the world's never seen or whatever, according to old Donald Trump. But old Donald Trump seems to be not having many when it comes to new tricks.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. So then there's that. Then, of course, the other thing that was brought up in the chat was apparently there's a new law on the books in Alabama. Alabama passed, as of June 11, 2025, there is a smokable hemp products ban. Effective July 1st, 2025, it will be illegal to sell or possess smokable hemp products in Alabama. This includes hemp cigarettes, cigars, joints, buds, flowers, as well as other products containing a cannabinoid, whether psychoactive or not, if marketed as a smokable product. Selling or possessing these products after this date will be a Class C felony, which is harsher than marijuana possession. What planet are we living on? And why are they so obsessed with, you'd think that these conservative states would want people to, have the ability to have their mind altered, to let them forget about all the bullshit that's going on in this administration. But I don't know, maybe they feel like they need more patriots for the Confederacy. I mean, the America or whatever. But actually, in reality, when conservatives talk about America, there's somebody on some website I was on, somebody was like, why do these conservatives claim to love America? And I'm like, the reason these conservatives love America is because the America that they love is the Confederate States of America. That's the America that they're patriotic to. That's not the America that, not the United States of America, because they don't want to be united. They want a confederacy, a giant confederacy of dunces, as they say. Let's see. Big Hook says, "I'm sorry if I scared anyone. It matters. If it matters, I'm scared for you." I mean, no. If I disagreed with anything that you said, Big Hook, I would speak up and tell you. But I can't find any flaws or errors in any of the things that you're saying, simply because of the fact that you're speaking truth. And we need more people speaking truth, because, well, we don't have enough of that going on in the administration, so we need the truth to counter it. Let's see. It takes a special level of brainwashing to buy it, and then that's sidetracked by weed. Yeah. If they're high, they won't buy the bull as easily. But I don't know. Will they? I mean, I don't know. To me, if they're high, they might buy the bull. They might, sit there and be like, okay. But apparently, most of the Trump supporters don't even need to be high to buy the bull. So, but to me, it would make it very easy. I don't know. But then again, maybe they look. Here's the thing. This is what conservatives do. Let's just record this one real quick. This is what conservatives do. This is what they've done ever since the Civil War. And remember, the conservatives were on the side of the South, because they were the ones who were yelling and bitching and moaning and whining and complaining about the whole myth of states' rights, because they believed that states had the so-called rights to enslave people. States don't have rights. People have rights. States have powers. That being said, what these people have done is that they've always wanted to manufacture ways to arrest people. Look at the history of, bans of loitering. So they couldn't just put black people to work in the, plantations just because they were owned by people. So what you had to do is you had to manufacture ways to get them put into prison, so then they could, do prison labor, and they could sell the prison labor back to the former plantation owners, so they could still work these people. But now they're just working them as, quote, criminals, but manufactured criminals, because there wasn't a crime like that before. So they had to make a new one up. So I'm wondering if the people in Alabama looked at this and said, maybe there's a certain type of people who would smoke the hemp products over smoking the other products, and as such we want to try and punish them as much as possible, because those are the people who we would normally have working in the fields in the Confederacy under slavery, and because we can't enslave them as normal, we need to then do other things, like, for example, create hemp as a Class C felony, even though THC is not, lock people up for it, and then get the people working in the fields back again. Because that's what ultimately conservatives do. That's what, the 13th Amendment did not ban all slavery. It only banned chattel slavery. If you're in prison, you can still be taken and be forced to work for slave wages as an enslaved person. They just need to find the right crime for those people that they want to enslave, to make sure that they're not hitting up the other people. It's why we've seen, for example, for the longest time, at least until some on the left tried to fix it, crack cocaine having a much harsher penalty than regular cocaine for the same goods, for the same amount of drug. It's just if it's presented differently, it was made into a harsher drug. So maybe that's what's going on here as well. And don't forget that. So because these people want you to forget our history, because they don't like you learning about our history. Because to them, anything that they learn, that people learn, that shows our country in a bad light is somehow unpatriotic. But, their country is the Confederacy anyway, so I don't know why they would be worried about how the United States is, viewed in the realm of the history of this country. But then again, what do you expect from people who will tell protesters in Los Angeles, if they love America, why are they flying Mexican flags, a country that still exists, whilst then also flying Confederate flags when they protest too? Because, as we say over and over again in this podcast, hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. And there's that. So, Josh, I do a killer yakety sax with a bow. It's somehow funnier on bass. Might be. I miss doing yakety sax for my Hypocrites of the Week. That used to be what I would do for Hypocrite of the Week. It was yakety sax, and not the If I Had a Chicken song that I now use for my current Hypocrites of the Week, including one that was aired last week. And you can hear this past week's Hypocrite of the Week on the patreon.com/liberaldan, or you could also hear old Hypocrites of the Week, where I do use yakety sax in the Patreon as well. So to become a Liberal Dan patron, go to patreon.com/liberaldan or patreon.liberaldan.com. Either way gets you there. Other ways to support the show: Venmo, Buy Me Cider. Go to liberaldan.com, click the Buy Me Cider button. Remember to like, share, comment on the videos on YouTube, gift subscriptions, buy super chats, super stickers, etc. Go to Twitch. If you have Amazon Prime, use Amazon Prime to subscribe to the channel for free. Otherwise, you can follow it for free as well, or gift and or buy other things, and of course bits as well help the show too. Let's see, how many Americans are in jail for pot offenses? Tough to say, because there is federal pot expenses, and I think Biden did pardon some of those people, but total number of U.S. U.S. imprisoned for THC. Let's see. It's difficult to it's difficult to determine the total number of individuals incarcerated for cannabis-related offenses because of data limitations and the complex nature of such cases. Federal incarcerations are have fewer than 10,000 federal marijuana prisoners incarcerated. State-level imprisonments are often significantly higher than federal cases. The overall estimate is by the Last Prisoner Project estimates that the number of individuals incarcerated for cannabis in the U.S. is higher than 40,000 people. So that's what the AI says or whatever. According to Last Prison Project, this says, if you apply the early report's substance-specific drug offense proportions and the new report's updated state and federal prison population figures, you'd conclude that there are about 32,000 cannabis prisoners, 22,000 state, and 10,000 federal. So, let's see, Marijuana Policy Project. How many federal prisoners are there? About 10,560 back in 2015. State marijuana prisoners. In 2018, law enforcement made over 500,000 marijuana arrests, which was more arrests than for all violent crimes combined. Tens of thousands of prisoners end up behind bars for cannabis offenses each and every year. Other individuals are accumulating wealth and pursuing marijuana business opportunities in other jurisdictions at the same time with the same substance. Thank you, Janelle, for the super chat for $5. Thank you so much. But yeah, just another hilarious one. Let's see. Under the belt is a Swedish chef's theme, funny on the bass. Hergenbergen. Anyway, one mood lifter that wasn't addictive or deadly for me. They want to take away legal, regulated, and taxed product. Hell, they want to get rid of what? Kratom? Is that the other thing? I have a friend of mine who does kratom, which is a stimulant. I think it's from a coffee plant or something. Let's see. Mitragina speciosa is a tropical evergreen tree of the Rubiaceae family tree to Southeast Asia. It's indigenous to Cambodia, Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia, Myanmar, and Papua New Guinea. Dark green glossy leaves known as kratom have been used in herbal medicine since at least the 19th century. However, some states and municipalities have chosen to ban kratom, making it illegal to sell, possess, grow, or use it. Including Louisiana now, which has now passed a ban on kratom as well. So, we have legal weed. We still have legal, hemp products as well. We haven't gone the way that Alabama has gone yet, but there you go. So let's see. Big Hook says my chat is freezing for some reason. I had a small little hiccup going on with the podcast stream as well, but who knows? Sometimes it happens. Let's see. Okay, when they buy it, what are they going to do? Bitch from the couch because they can't stand up to the buzz. Exactly. Who knows? Yeah, Texas and Tennessee have similar stuff coming because conservatives love to claim to be for small government unless they can tell you what to do with your life. If they can tell you what to do with your life, they love big government. But when it comes to, telling them what to do with their lives, then they want small government. Go figure. Anyway, yes, 250 kilo to Louisiana prison system. Exactly. Tons of people in prison in Louisiana. But the 2 of the 10 that escaped from Orleans Parish Prison, i.e. the New Orleans, parish jail, the county jail, so to speak, 2 of them are still out and about. And shockingly enough, the one that's out and about, that's probably going to be the last one captured, is the one with the most facial tattoos, which I'm like, either people are seeing them and are like, look, I don't want to fuck with that dude. He's managed to stay away. I'm not messing with him. Or maybe he's just being smart. Maybe he figured out how to use concealer. I don't know. See, I've got a great Sesame Street theme, but it sounds too legit for humor. Like what? Just like sunny days, washing the clouds away. But is it like on a bass or something, or what is it on? I don't know. Yeah, I bet he was. I bet he was going to be caught first. I lost that bet. Yeah, I was sitting there like, how is this guy not caught yet? Like when they had the first 4, I was like, this dude hasn't been caught yet. But maybe he was smart though. Maybe he was like, I'm not going to go to the, Raising Cane's on Manhattan Boulevard in Gretna or Harvey or whatever. I think it's Harvey. Maybe, he wasn't like, I'm going to go hang out at my mama's house in New Orleans East. Maybe he was like, okay, I'm going to do the smart thing and get the hell out of Dodge, shave my head, get new clothes, put on some concealer, and, hide instead of actually going out and, trying to live his life as a wanted criminal. Did you hear the Elmo dump diss track? I think so. I think I have heard that one. Yes. They have not caught the other 2 yet. There is 8 that are caught. Only there are 2 that are remaining, including the face tattoo guy, which is just amazing because that you would think that guy would be the one who would have been of the first to be caught. Anyway, I'm starting to get tired again. It's 10 o'clock. We've been on for 2 hours, which is actually, frankly, longer than I thought my stomach was going to be able to last. So I think at this point in time, it's probably a safe bet to go ahead and cancel the show. But let us go ahead and bring that up. And of course, according to the websites, free shipping on all orders. So if you order from store.liberaldanradio.com and, you know, get one of the 2 Liberal Dan shirts, which is, we'll listen to, the Twitch folks will listen to this, I guess, as it stands. But no, that's not what we want to do. We want to do that just to kind of leave that open. Let's flip that back around again just to put this all by itself. All by itself. Don't want to be. Anyway, so again, store.liberaldanradio.com is the way to get the shirts. We've got the FDT. We've got the Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt. And I'm hoping to see them in person at the end of the month. I most likely will. So I'll have my shirts pretty soon. But if you want to get your shirts before me, go ahead and go to store.liberaldanradio.com and get either your Al Gore Needs More Rhythm shirt or your FDT shirt. Best of thing is if you go over to the FDT one, if you want to, you know, share, if you think that one's the best one, that one's more people will get, because obviously not a lot of people might not realize the Al Gore Needs More Rhythm one. But I mean, it's good for a conversation starter, right? Explain why. Because Al Gore created the internet, and all code is based on an Al Gore rhythm. And if you need to help the algorithms, like, share, subscribe, etc. So again, we will go ahead and play the Liberal Dandruff theme again for both folks on Twitch and YouTube, and then we will end the show on Twitch, and then YouTube will continue on for the Evening Land show. Until the next time I see you, thank you all so much. Appreciate it. Go buy a shirt, go like some videos, etc., and have a great night. Peace.
Out of the blue, a liberal Dan got some bitter things to sling. Says my AI is unlistenable, a waste of time.